Hey everybody, welcome to the video. I am Pickled Bullet. Thank you guys for stopping by today. Today I wanted to do the first video of many videos to come eventually for fantasy football. I am huge in fantasy football. I have two big leagues that I'm in this year so far. One of them I kind of just go on to ESPN or NFL.com and pick a league just to kind of play in. But I have two big leagues that I play in currently, and I'm really excited for the draft coming up in about a month from now. So I just wanted to give you guys my take on what players you need to avoid in your draft this year and what players might be some great sleepers. I don't know if you classify a couple of them as sleepers, but they're players that you definitely want to watch for and have on your board because they might have a big year. Anyways, we'll jump right into it. My first one that I want to avoid, Matt Stafford. I think that he is overrated. I think that he's been putting up the great production numbers the last, 4 or 5 years consistently. He's hitting that close to 4,000 yards every year. But I think this year is the year that he kind of just drops off. I'm not really feeling Matt Stafford at all. I'm going to stay away from Deshaun Watson. And I know a lot of people are really high on Deshaun Watson this year, but I think that maybe last year was a fluke. I know he got injured a little bit too, but I think that it was a fluke last year. And before I put all my money down on the table for Deshaun Watson and get him in that fourth round right now, because that's what he's being projected at. A lot of people are taking him in the fourth round. When I'm seeing mocks, fourth, maybe fifth round as well. But he's going pretty early. He's going in the top 3 quarterbacks drafted, and I just don't see that happening. I don't see the worth there. I feel like I could get another great wide receiver or running back in the fourth round at that point in time. I'm also going to stay away from any of the top 5 quarterbacks that are ranked right now. So you got your Aaron Rodgers, you got your Drew Brees, you got your Tom Brady up in there. Deshaun Watson, I think, is in that range as well. But I'm going to stay away from any of them because you can get a quarterback really late in the draft, and they're going to put up pretty much the same amount of numbers. The only one that might put up a lot more numbers is Aaron Rodgers, but I'm going to pass on him too right now just because I'm biased. I'm a Viking fan, so I'm not big on Aaron Rodgers, but at the same time, with his new wide receiver core, I'm not going to play around with that very much. Randall Cobb and, Jordy Nelson's gone now, so we'll see what they can do this year, but I'm going to stay away from Aaron Rodgers as well. Running back. One of the big running backs that I'm not so huge on this year is Leonard Fournette. And I know that a lot of people love him, and he's going towards the middle to the end of the first round right now in a lot of drafts, but I don't see Leonard Fournette putting up the production numbers that pick is really worth right now. Maybe in the middle of the second round to the end of the second he could go. I would place him in that range somewhere, but right now I don't see Leonard Fournette being that top guy. And part of the reason is last year he averaged, I think, about 3.5 to 4 yards. I think 3.5 yards per carry is what he averaged last year, which ain't good, but it ain't bad, but it's not great either. And he's getting the work. He's getting a lot of carries, and this year teams have learned to stack the box against Leonard Fournette. So they're going to stack the box against Leonard Fournette, and they're going to come at him because, let's not forget who their quarterback is who just signed a big deal. Blake Bortles. So we want to stay away from Leonard Fournette. I don't think that he's going to be big this year. For wide receiver, my big bust is going to be Mike Evans. And again, a lot of people love Mike Evans, but I'm not high on him. He's actually ranked right now as the number 9 wide receiver. I would put him a little bit lower than that. He was actually targeted 136 times last year for only 71 catches. He only had one 100-yard game last year. The year before, he had a huge year, and he was great, but he dropped off last year, and I think that's going to keep on falling, especially now that Jameis Winston is going to be out for a while. We don't know how long exactly he's going to be out. It could be 4 games, I think, right now. It's what the suspension is going to be. But I'm not big on Mike Evans either. Tight end, the big one for me is Gronk. Obviously, Gronk is way overrated. Yes, he's great when he is playing, but if he's hurt, bad news, man. I am seeing him go really early in drafts yet again this year. People are drafting him right at the end of the second round or right at the beginning of the third, where it's like, why? Why would you waste your time? Why would you spend all that draft stock, put all that draft stock on a tight end where you can get pretty much similar results with what he's been doing lately with somebody like Zach Ertz? I think Zach Ertz, he broke out last year, had a huge year, and I think that Zach Ertz is going to continue on his wave of destruction, and Zach Ertz is going to have another great year this year with Carson Wentz back there throwing the ball to him again, and the Eagles should have another great year, but I think Zach Ertz is going to be the standout in that whole offense right there. Yeah, they have Alshon Jeffrey, but Zach Ertz is the one that they're going to be throwing the ball to whenever he's open. He's a big target, and Carson Wentz loves him. So watch out for Zach Ertz this year. Some of my sleeper picks this year. Let's jump into sleepers. I got Juju Smith-Schuster. I think that Juju is going to come out of his shell. He had a big year last year for his rookie year, and I think he's going to continue that trend, and he's going to jump up, and he's going to have a huge year. I actually like him almost as much as I like Antonio Brown. I think Antonio Brown is great, and he's been putting up great numbers year after year, but this might be the year where Juju kind of steps up and gets a lot more receptions and taking away some from Antonio Brown. That's why my philosophy this year is you have those top 5 picks in the fantasy football draft this year, and they should all be running backs in those top 5. After top 5, that's where it gets dicey, because that's where a lot of people are taking Antonio Brown. He's going at 5 or 6 right now in a lot of leagues, and I don't know if he's worth that 6th overall pick. I'd put him more at maybe the end of the first round to maybe the end of middle early of the second round. I know that he is like the top wide receiver, but I don't think that he's going to have that huge of a year again this year. Another sleeper for me, Jerick McKinnon. I think that now that he's moved on from Minnesota and he's not going to be splitting carries with Latavius Murray anymore like he was last year and the year before that. He's been splitting carries a lot of his career, and a lot of people don't think that Jerick McKinnon is going to be able to handle a big workload. And the 49ers have already come out and said that he's our guy. He's going to be getting a full workload. He's going to get the carries. So if he's able to stay healthy and if he's able to handle as many carries as they're talking about, I mean, he could get upwards of 250 to 300 carries. He's only averaged, I think the most he's ever had was about 200 to 220 range. But I think he's going to get a lot more than that. And with Garoppolo in the backfield throwing him the ball, I think he's also going to be receiving a lot of balls too. So he could be like a breakout year. I know like he's been in the league for a few years now, but this could be his big breakout year now that he's with San Francisco. I see him having a year maybe like a Kamara, like getting a lot of passes out of the backfield and getting a lot of the work and being like an Alvin Kamara was last year for this year. You can get him in this late second, early third. Jerick McKinnon is still going to be there. I also really love Doug Baldwin. I think that he's great, and now that the Seahawks have moved on from Jimmy Graham, I think that Doug Baldwin is going to get a lot more catches. And now that the Legion of Boom defense, stay away from them, by the way, if you don't know already, the Legion of Boom is actually the Legion of Doom, because they are doomed now. They've gotten rid of, I think, like 80% of their original Legion of Boom is gone. And so their defense is really, really hurting right now. So I believe that offense is going to be on the field a lot, which means, Russell Wilson might be a great quarterback to get this year because he's going to be on the field a lot. They're going to be throwing the ball a lot because I feel like that defense is not what it was. They're going to be giving up a lot more plays, and that offense is going to be throwing the ball a lot. So watch out for Doug Baldwin coming up this year. He's going to have a great year this year. I also really like my last one, and again, I'm a Vikings fan, so I'm biased, but I think Kirk Cousins is going to have a huge, huge year. I'm seeing him go in like the 7th or 8th round right now as a quarterback, but I'd probably take him in the 6th if he was there, maybe. Depends who else is there at the time. But I really like Kirk Cousins. He's coming out of a broken system in Washington where he didn't have much to throw to. He had Pierre Garcon for a couple years, but now he's coming out of, like I said, a broken system. He's coming to a Vikings system. Yes, the Vikings have a new offensive coordinator, but they're going to work with Kirk Cousins, and he's been there all offseason, so he's got the time to learn the playbook, and he knows what he's doing. He's got great running back in Dalvin Cook, who's going to come back healthy. He also has great wide receiver pair combo of Adam Thielen and Stephon Diggs. So I love that combo, and I love Kirk Cousins throwing the ball to both of them. And they're going to get a lot of catches and a lot of balls thrown towards them. Kirk Cousins is the guy. People are saying that he's the kind of guy where you need 10 yards and he's going to get you 8. He's a stat patter. That's what they say. He pads the stats. No. I say no. I say that he's going to do great, and I think that he's going to take the Vikings to the playoffs this year for sure, and that's something that's going to happen. It should definitely happen. Anyways, you guys, thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. I really appreciate you guys stopping by. Feel free to drop a comment if you agree with something that I say. If you disagree with something that I say, leave a comment as well. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you very much. I'm Pickle Bullet, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.